I always believed anniversaries were meant to mark love's milestones, quiet acknowledgments of storms endured, sacrifices shared, and loyalty that bound two lives together. But on the evening of my 18th anniversary with Claire, the woman I once thought was my soulmate, I sat staring into a wine glass, the liquid glinting beneath the chandelier's soft glow, wondering if it had been tampered with. Not poisoned to kill me. Claire wasn't that kind of person. Or at least, I had thought so. Yet when her hand trembled faintly as she slid the glass toward me, her eyes carefully avoiding mine, something deep inside me shifted. It was subtle enough to miss if you weren't looking. But after 18 years, I knew every flicker of her expression, every hidden tell. And this wasn't nerves. It was something darker. We sat across from each other at the table she'd arranged so meticulously, candles, wedding china, a meal she claimed to have cooked herself. But I'd noticed the takeout bags shoved hastily beneath the sink when I came in. I said nothing. I was already busy trying to quiet the unease that had been growing for months. Claire had been distant, secretive with her phone, laughing in another room only to stop the second I appeared. The warmth that used to live in her eyes had cooled into something evasive. I told myself it was stress, that after almost 2 decades, people just changed. Then came the glass. She raised hers with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "To 18 years, David," she said softly. I lifted mine, but hesitated. And in that pause, I caught it, the faintest smirk tugging at her lips, gone as quickly as it appeared. My stomach dropped. I clinked her glass with mine, heart hammering, and as she tilted hers back, I switched them in one smooth motion and took a slow, deliberate sip. Her eyes widened, just enough to confirm the fear that had been gnawing at me. "Claire," I said carefully, setting the glass down, "what did you put in my drink?" The silence that followed was heavier than any shout. She didn't answer right away, just sat gripping the stem of her glass until her knuckles whitened, lips pressed tight. Finally, she exhaled, her shoulders sagging. "You weren't supposed to notice." The casual cruelty of those words burned hotter than fire. I leaned forward, my voice unsteady. "What did you do?" She looked up at me, and for the first time, there was no trace of love in her eyes, only irritation. "Nothing that would harm you," she said. "Just something to make you sleep. I needed you out of the way tonight." "Out of the way?" I echoed, my throat closing. And then it hit me. The late nights, the secrecy, the sudden insistence on this anniversary dinner. It wasn't about us. It was about an alibi, a distraction. "Who is he?" I asked, my voice breaking. Her silence was all the answer I needed. The betrayal washed over me like ice water. Each breath a cut. 18 years. Birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, little rituals only we shared, and it all crumbled in a heartbeat. I pushed back on the table, the chair screeching across the floor. "You were going to drug me so you could sneak out to him on our anniversary." Her composure cracked, her mask slipping into irritation. "Don't be so dramatic, David. You've been suffocating lately. Always watching, always questioning." I needed one night to feel alive again. I laughed then, a bitter, broken sound that didn't belong to me. "One night? Claire, how long has this been going on?" She hesitated. "Too long." I turned away, gripping the counter to steady myself as rage, grief, and disbelief collided inside me. She rose, her voice sharp. "You don't understand. You've become predictable, boring. You go to work, come home, sit in your chair. I needed more." I spun back, chest heaving. "And your answer was to drug your husband?" Her eyes narrowed. "You wouldn't have let me leave otherwise." Those words cut deeper than any blade. I don't remember deciding to reveal my move, but suddenly I was holding up her untouched glass, swirling the liquid. "You realize I switched the drink, right? Whatever you meant for me, I already drank it." Her face went pale. "David, you didn't." The satisfaction was hollow but real. Watching her panic, watching the realization dawn that her plan had backfired, that was the only sliver of justice I had. "Relax," I said coldly. "It wasn't much, was it? Just enough to make me sleep. Well, enjoy your night in alone." The next hours blurred. She tried to explain, to plead, but I shut her out. I packed a bag in silence as she followed me from room to room, words spilling out in frantic waves. It didn't mean anything. I was going to end it. You've changed, David. You don't see what it's like living with you. I still love you in my own way. Each excuse was another knife. By the time I zipped my bag, I had no tears left, only a dull, aching emptiness. At the door, my hand on the knob, I paused. She stood behind me, eyes red, face twisted with desperation. David, don't go. Please. We can fix this. I turned just enough to meet her gaze. For a moment, I searched for the woman I'd once loved. The one who danced barefoot in the rain with me, stayed up all night helping me study, whispered promises in the dark. But she was gone. Or maybe she had never been there at all. You tried to drug me, Claire, I said quietly. There's no coming back from that. And I walked out. Months have passed since that night. People ask why I left so suddenly, why I walked away from nearly 2 decades of marriage without fighting for it. I don't tell them everything. Not about the glass. Not about the look in her eyes when I confronted her. Not about my hands trembling as I packed. What I do tell them is this. Trust is the foundation of any marriage. Once it's poisoned, even by something as small as a pill in a glass of wine, it can never be restored. I thought our 18th anniversary would be a celebration of love. Instead, it was a funeral for everything I thought was real. And though it still hurts, though the nights are lonely and the silence loud, I'd rather live with that pain than sleep beside someone who saw me as an obstacle instead of a partner. Because real love doesn't come with powder at the bottom of a wine glass. It comes with truth. And Claire had none left to give.